I'm a bit short. I'll stand here. So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's great. I have the privilege of being part of a project. I got a phone call, I think it was at one of the CRC conferences, that you were looking at MLAs, looking at some fast track funding. 25% would be our contribution and MLA would pay 75%. So the initial thought was we might get some cheap DNA testing. So as part of that process, I sent an email out, and within 4 days there was $3 million worth of commitment from growers who were interested in being part of this. It was a little bit above the budget, I think, that MLA had thought about, but what we ended up doing was putting together a project that was the dollar for dollar, 50%. So the growers, the project participants put in half the money, so $1.5 million have gone into this. And we've also partnered with UNE to be able to deliver it. The project's under the groups of MerinoLink, and many of the producers that are involved in the project are part of that group as well. One of the things that I saw in the industry, and this is my perspective, was that there were a number of tools out there, but they were being used in an ad hoc way. So where this project grew from the cheap testing was that we actually partnered with a number of different organisations, but we've also been able to look at how we can strategically utilise a lot of these tools. Within this particular project that I'm talking about, which again has another name similar to my business, it's a DNA stimulation project, not that original, not that exciting, but the people that are involved, so we've got commercial breeders who purchase rams, there's commercial breeders who breed their own rams, ram breeders who sell their rams, and we've also got a number of service providers that we're looking at capacity building so that we can be very strategic about using a lot of these tools. The other collaborators which I've mentioned too, UNE, Sheep Genetics have been fantastic, and I can't fault the support that we've had from MLA. It's been outstanding. And also from MerinoLink. One of the things that I guess comes across on a regular basis for me is if you don't have the fundamentals right, the tools are a waste of time and money. So get the fundamentals right, and I've just put a few up there. Have a really clear breeding objective, and also getting your data quality right. Andrew was talking about the work that he's doing, and if his data quality wasn't good enough, then he's not going to see the benefits in terms of how he can make his selections. And the same goes for all the other ram breeders that are part of the project. So we're really working with them to get the fundamentals right so then they can utilise these tools. Maybe not to the level that Andrew is, but that's another inspiration that we can work towards. So how we're doing this, and a big part of that is the DNA parent testing. So all of the ram breeders that are involved in this particular project are going down the pathway of full DNA parentage so that we've got full pedigree. And then we can use the fun stuff, which is the genomics. A couple of the other tools that we're looking at using that aren't necessarily genomic tools are MateCell, and also with commercial breeders RamPower, which I'll explain in a minute. But it's having that full pedigree, performance recording still, so we're putting information back in, and animals still have to be fit for purpose. They still need to be suitable for your environment and to meet your breeding objective, and that's really important. So with this particular project, we're some of the ones that have contributed to that 100,000 tests. Over the 12 months, we've got 59 flock profiles, and what we're doing is a flock profile now with the 17 drop, and one which will be done in 4 or 5 years' time. So we can actually look at utilising that flock profile, the flock profile as a benchmarking tool. There's lots of other things that we're putting in between that I'll explain in a minute, but that's how we're utilising that. We've currently put in 54,000 DNA parent tests within the group, and we've done 12,000 15K tests. One of the things that you'll notice, and it's quite probably difficult to see, but up here in this graph, so this is just where the ram breeders, so this is 100, and it's 165 or 70, and similar on this axis. That's the spectrum of ram breeders that we're dealing with. So they're not all in the top corner, so we've got a wide range of ram breeders that we're dealing with. But one of the things that we've been able to do, and with the help from Peter from Sheep Genetics, is that we've been able to generate the ramping up genetic gain reports, and we can track our progress. And the line here is where the current genetic trend is for the ram breeders that are involved in our project. And they've improved their average, so that's all that big group, they've improved their average by 2.5 points, which is pretty significant considering that this is the current industry trend. So what I wanted to do is just give you a little snapshot of how we're using some of this technology. And this is a particular breeder, and we've done a commercial breeder who was breeding his own rams, who's now purchasing his rams, and we did a flock profile. And what you can see is we've got some positives in terms of fleece weight, and we've got some positives in terms of growth. We sat down and we worked out what his breeding objective is. We've tracked his ram team through the ram team manager, and then we've actually gone out utilising this information as a benchmark and where his current ram team is, and said, right, which rams are we going to buy this year? And what we do each year is we're purchasing rams that year on year are better. So we need to be making genetic progress with this particular producer. The other thing, whoops, got a bit excited there. The other thing that we've been able to do with this particular breeder and a number of the other commercial breeders is we're selecting their ewes, their replacement ewes. So we're trying to use as much information as we can, but still keeping it simple, because people will do it if it's simple. So this is what we've done. So this is just a quick snapshot of where, this is just looking at fleece weight in particular. So he was currently breeding rams, so buying not that many, and then he started purchasing rams. So we're buying a lot more rams here. So that was, you might say, well, that's a dip in the first year, but this is where we are now. So the rams that we purchased last year. He had 1,700 maiden ewes. We measured them for fibre diameter, fleece weight and body weight. 3 kind of key profit drivers for his business. We ranked them with the Merino Production Ram Power Index, similar to what we're purchasing his rams with. And he wanted to cull an extra 500. So the results of what this little exercise, what we did, so the average fleece weight for that particular drop was 5 kilos. So it was cutting the micron was 18.9. And I just did a quick value in terms of fleece value based on a couple of weeks ago. And the average fleece weight for those ewes was $77. So then all we've done is taken the ranking of those 1,700 and pulled out the bottom 500 based on a Ram Power Index. And the ones that we pulled out, the 500, their average was 4.6 kilos. They were stronger, slightly smaller, 5 kilos roughly. But this is where I valued their wool, $70. Still useful, still, not bad. But the ones that we kept, and these are our replacement ewes that we're going to be breeding with the new rams that we've just purchased. They're 5.2 kilos fleece weight, they're 18.6, but the thing that I really like is they're $80. So the ones that we culled out were producing us $10 less per head. So then you add that over, if we scale it up in terms of economies of scale, and you've actually got significant amounts of savings because we've got rid of the right sheep. He used this information to sell them on Auctions Plus, and I think he got $120. That's not bad. So the opportunities that we've got is that if you put that over a number of, another couple of thousand, the animals that you're retaining are making you more money. So there's your new kitchen, your holiday, Land Cruiser, okay, fantastic. Or you can spend a bit more money on some rams that are actually going to keep making you more money. And all we're doing is using very simple tools, they're very complex tools in a simple way. And it's not rocket science, is it? No? Okay. Anyway, that's my very small example, and that's one of the commercial breeders that's part of this bigger project. The thing that it's become is the collaboration and the networking within amongst the brand breeders, but also the commercial breeders. And they're looking at sharing what they're doing with each other, and I think it's a great privilege to be involved with this particular group. We challenge each other, and I think in terms of utilising the information with the DNA and the genomics, I think where we go to from here, and I'm looking, you know, with the support of Julius and Tom Granlease from UNE and all the staff at Sheep Genetics and with MLA, it's a great collaboration, and I thank you for the opportunity.